Hey, you. It's been a while we had like a long chat conversation. Let's talk about the Premier League so far. We've had 7 games
Mhm.
already, 7 games into the season already. So, and we'll be looking at 3 areas now. So we'll discuss and also probably touch on those 3 areas. The first one would be
Mhm.
the the clubs, the top performing clubs, and maybe if there's any worst performing so far we want to look at. Then we look at players as well, the top
Was
performing
performing.
players that we think are living, maybe living to expectation or even beyond expectation, and those ones that are
Mhm.
probably surprising us in the other way around as well. We can look at them. The last but on the list, but not the least, we can't talk about Premier League without talking about officiating. We can look at how it has gone so far, if anything has improved or if it is getting better or worse. We'll touch on that as well. But let's start with the clubs. I know we all had our prediction at the beginning of the
Mhm.
season, but now we have, we don't have much separating certain clubs in the Premier League. Arsenal is topping the table at as of now after 7 games with 16 points. Liverpool
With only
right
one
behind.
point.
Liverpool right behind 15, 1 point. Spurs and Bournemouth are on 14, 14, which is just 2 points away from the first. Manchester City 13, which is just 3 points away from the first. And another team that's been performing wonderfully well is Crystal Palace. They have 12 points, 4 points away. We have Chelsea, which is 11, 5 points away from the top. And then if we touch on Manchester United, which is 10 with 10 points.
World
So
champions.
those are some of them. But if you look at who are those that are bottom table, bottom, Wolves is sitting down there with 2 points. West Ham 4 and then Burnley 4. Not surprising, we have the first man. We've had 2 manager changes this season.
Mhm.
West Ham that is sitting 19 has changed their manager quickly from Potter to Nuno. And that same
No, no.
Nuno
Mhm.
was also left Nottingham Forest to come pick the job here because Andrew replaced him. But let's not focus on that. Let's look at top performing clubs. Which one club has surprised you so far this is positively?
Palace, honestly.
Surprise. For me, I
God.
won't say surprise. If in terms of performing, Crystal Palace has
Mhm.
performed well. I get your points, like they've performed well, but they've
Mhm.
not surprised me. Why have they not surprised me? Because they went about 12 games unbeaten before last season
Yeah.
ended.
Before last
And
season ended.
if you check those 12 games, bro, they were tough games. Not just in those 12 games we
Yeah,
had
but
Liverpool. In those 12 games we
but
had Manchester City. So when they started the season, they started with Chelsea. I saw people that were thinking
mhm.
to Chelsea. I'm like, you guys quickly forget what Crystal Palace was like. You understand? But I think
No, but if you think
they had
about
their
it,
first defeat after 19 games. And you know what? Do
yes.
guess what? Everton was the only team again last season that was able to flog them home.
Yeah, but I think the issue is why me I'm surprised about Palace is they lost some players this season. They lost Izzy
Easy,
now,
right? I think it's just easy.
and they almost lost Gueye.
Hmm.
At some point I was actually afraid for them in even in Europe that would they be able to keep
Oh
up,
yeah, that's
especially now
true.
that they've
They are in
lost
the
their
Conference League
main.
now.
But like I'm only surprised because it's not as if I'm looking at Crystal Palace like they can't do it. But the
Mhm.
fact that they are that high and they didn't lose again, like you said, they didn't lose until this weekend when they lost to Everton. So that was really surprising for me. But
The
like if we
team
now look
that
at
the team that surprised me the most, I'm not gonna lie
mm,
to you, so far after 7 games is Bournemouth. And why
because of
Bournemouth?
how much they lost all their players and then they assist
Bro,
Everton.
bro, because last season we know Bournemouth played well. Bournemouth was a tough one to play last season, especially if
Mhm.
you go to that their very small stadium. But
Yeah,
like you just said, Bournemouth lost. I think they lost three. Not I think they lost 3 of their starters on that back line. They lost
yeah.
Kakes. They lost Dean to Real Madrid. They lost this guy again to Zabayi or what's his name,
hmm
Zubayi, whatever. To lost him to PSG.
but outside of Liverpool and maybe Tottenham, don't think
Mhm.
Bournemouth has played any other big team. Like and
No, no.
they won. I
See,
know they won
see, see,
Wolves.
see,
They won
see.
Wolves at some point.
Let's
Wait,
not
they
lie
beat
to
Tottenham,
ourselves.
Joseph.
See, if we look at who they've played, there's no way you
Uh,
can see they've played Liverpool. They lost Liverpool, but we also how they came in. We saw the
hmm
approach. You understand? We saw the fighting spirit. They played Tottenham. We saw the fighting spirit. You understand? Again, let's even put that aside. Another thing is that we know teams that we can talk about who they've played and we know where they are on the table as well. When you lose all these kind of
Hey, just
players,
call Manchester United with your full chest. I don't understand. Why are you
I,
hiding
I'm,
mouth?
I'm not mentioning anyway. But anyways, let's not drag that too much. Yeah, let's leave the one club that's performing. Let's look at others. Arsenal topping the table after 7 games. I know you're an Arsenal fan, but so don't drag things too much. But what do you have
I
to say
mean, I don't
about
I
the
don't
league
expect
leader? About lately after
Yes.
7 games, what do you have to say? You know one thing.
I don't.
Considering the fact that when this after 5 games,
Mhm.
especially after City, there are a lot of Arsenal fans. They were out there saying Arteta is this, Arteta is that, Arteta is that, Arteta is that. I remember some people were telling them you can't compare the number of games or the type of people that Arsenal has played in their first 5 games to those Liverpool have played, because people are saying Liverpool is stopping with 5 games points.
No,
And look at it.
but okay.
The moment Liverpool played two tough teams back to back,
Mhm.
two tough teams back to back,
No,
they
but
vomited all the
okay.
6 points.
One thing you have to understand about Arsenal fans is that we've been there 3 times now that we've come second just because we were like at the second about some games. I will use the City game as an example. Coming into the season, everybody expects Arsenal to win the easy games and
Mhm.
somehow manage to get point against their top big teams rivals. But we found out every season, past 2 seasons, that it's those easy games that we always lose point on. And then the big games that we usually win or draw, we drew against City and we lost
And
to
that's
Liverpool.
and that's one of the reasons why I'm saying what you are saying. I'm not sure Arsenal fans follow pattern. If they follow pattern, they would not have been dragging the whole Arteta thing after big games. Because what
No,
I'm
they
saying
would
is
drag, oh, they would
no.
drag. Because
You get my
do you
point.
remember the
Maybe
Liverpool game? I
we
dragged
have
Arteta as well. No, no, no. See,
conflicting view. Maybe
the
we have
point is
conflicting
like
view.
this. No, it's like when it comes to Arsenal, right? The ceiling
Mhm.
is everybody puts the ceiling like this for
No,
Arsenal.
people like to
And
bat Arsenal, just not.
Arsenal fans themselves, we are putting the ceiling like this. And the reason because we want to win something this season. So they can drag the
Yeah, I
manager
want you to
as
get
much
my
as they
point.
want
Let
to
me get
drag
my
the
point.
manager.
Let's not drag things out of context too much. I want us to get to the fact itself.
Mhm,
What I'm saying is this: as a fan, that you are raising the ceiling is one thing. That your expectation is high is
mhm.
another thing. Following pattern and that you want to win league is another
So what's the
thing.
pattern
What
you are
I'm
bringing
saying is
out?
this: when Arsenal in the last 2 seasons, at least I'm sure of it, in the
Mhm.
last 2 seasons, that Arsenal has not won the league was never down to big team. It was down to teams
Yes,
like, for example, not beating West Ham like you
and
guys
Fulham.
did. Yeah, like losing against Bournemouth. Like they are the smaller games. But what I saw with Arsenal fan online a
Mhm,
lot. Maybe again, maybe because social media, maybe people are fetching. Maybe some people it's just emotion. Maybe people are even fetching takes on social media. I don't know. What people don't
mhm.
understand is you don't play a game like City, Arsenal, and then you start dragging manager, thinking that that's where you lose the league. You don't lose the league against big team. So Alex Ferguson that we just talked about in one of our episodes about being in the 250 clubs. So Alex Ferguson was not known for beating big teams for a large number of most of the leagues he won. He's not known for always going out and beating big teams. But one thing you know about him is that he can go 10 games and a row with, you see all those teams that
Against the
some people
smaller
will,
team.
yeah, some people will, maybe that's why you want to go and rest player or you want to play
Baba,
with it.
Let Vergusen come and try it now. Let
It's,
Vergusen come and
but
try it now.
even Pep has
Do
won the
you know
league
the
like
reason
that.
why? Do you know the
Pep has
reason why
won the league like that.
Pep was
Pep
able
has
to
won the
win
league like
league?
that.
But Pep was beating Arsenal. He was beating Chelsea. He
Should
was
I
beating
tell you
Manchester United.
the
He
fourth
wasn't
league?
losing points against
The
his
fourth
rivals that he
league,
was supposed to
let
be
me tell
losing
you, the
points now.
fourth league, you know that fourth in a row, in that season, BBC,
Mm,
Sky Sport, everybody, they were doing posters, banners that Pep was
mhm.
struggling against the top six, not even top four,
Tell me
top six
which of the top seeds you lost against? Except you lost against Arsenal and you lost
against
against
Arsenal,
Manchester United, I believe.
against Liverpool,
Against Manchester. Yeah, which
against
other you
Liverpool,
lost against Liverpool that season?
yes,
Did
against
you lose any
Liverpool,
game against Chelsea?
against Tottenham. Okay, against
Did
Tottenham, it
you lose
was
any game
draw
against
one, lose.
Chelsea?
They drew the two.
Baba, see,
They
even
drew the two.
against the
What
Arsenal, it
I'm
was
telling
win one. It
you,
was win one, lose one.
draw.
Against
It
Arsenal was
was
win one. Against Liverpool was win one, lose
no.
one.
What I'm telling
Against
you
Man
is
U was win one, lose
you are
one.
not getting my
No, see,
point. Are you
K.
getting my point? Okay,
No,
the
I
same
get your
Ateta people
point.
are
I
saying.
get your
What I'm
point.
saying is,
No, I get your
I'm
point.
not
Your point
saying
is
he should
this:
know. I'm not
Arsenal
saying
fans
Ateta
should
should
not
go
be
and lose. I'm not saying Ateta should go and lose. Don't get me wrong. And again, let's not lie to ourselves.
okay.
Ateta is never going to design a team to go and lose. No manager sits down in
And
front of his drawing
that one
board
is sure.
and say, I want to go and lose. But what I'm saying is
Mm-hmm.
that I would have expected that Arsenal fan, if you want to drag the team, the energy, the thing, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you're fighting for the league. Because see, when you're fighting for league like this, your team, your manager, your team, it also needs the fan base to be positive. If you are
The
fighting for
fan base
this,
are positive.
let there be concrete reasons why you're dragging the team. Let there be. If
Okay,
you,
hold
but
on.
anyways, I
Okay,
don't want us to drag Arsenal too much. We
no,
have
no,
other things to talk about.
hold on. Before we move to other stuff, let me tell you one thing. Arsenal fans
Mhm.
have concrete reasons for dragging the team.
Right after
Outside
game
fans
5
looking
against
in.
City, playing
Hold on,
1-1 is
hold on.
concrete reason. Playing
Outside
1-1
fans
after
looking
five
in.
games.
Hold on. outside
Okay.
fans looking in, you guys don't have the right to tell Arsenal fans how to drag their team or not to drag their
We are
team.
talking
That's just a
about
simple
football
fact.
now. This is not we talking
No,
about
okay.
who wants to talk about who
Even
don't want to
football,
talk about.
you guys don't have the right to cry more than the bereaved. If
Who
Arsenal
are
fans
those
is
even
dragging their manager, if
people
he's
only
dragging
want
their
to
team,
bounce
that's on
Arsenal?
them.
Do you think
Oh yeah,
anybody's
let's
calling
move on to the
Arsenal?
next one.
Nobody's
Let's
even
move on
calling
to the next
Arsenal. People
one.
just want to ban
And
Arsenal.
that's what's
So,
paining you
anyways,
people because you guys don't have the opportunity to bat Arsenal now. You guys are not focusing on Arsenal fans. But let's move on to the next one anyway. But still, you guys don't have the
I've
right to
told
drag
you.
Arsenal fans.
Nobody's even
Oh yeah,
dragging
moving
Arsenal
on.
fans. Even the press, they joined you guys in
Let's
dragging
move
Arteta on
on.
the day.
Let's
So,
move
anyways, if we
on.
go to Liverpool now, another interesting thing about Liverpool, because I know they are actually going to be the subject of conversation for the long time, except they win the league. Because the thing is, I as a City fan, I know what this can look like. When you spend so much money, when you spend so much money,
Mhm,
and you break a record transfer with maybe not just one player, two players in your team, you need to be ready to face the pressure that comes with it. And so far,
mhm.
Liverpool is not responding well, or the players are not responding well to. And again, people are not dragging them fairly yet, anyways, to be honest. The people are not dragging them yet. Do you think that before the pressure gets to the peak, do you think Liverpool would respond? Do you think they will shake themselves off? With what you've seen in 7 games, do you think they will shake things off? With what you've seen,
From
with what you've seen.
beginning of the season, that game with Bournemouth, everybody already
Mhm.
said Liverpool will struggle this season because they had to rely on two late goals. And I was checking something on BBC earlier during the week. All the games, most of the games Liverpool had won, the goals had come at the 80th minute, and
Mhm.
some of them actually came thanks to ref adding unreasonable time to what they're supposed to have against West Ham and I think against Newcastle. And so, like, you look at it and you're like, what question was everybody was asking, even from last season, I said it several times, will Liverpool continue to get lucky and win games in that minute? So far, we've
Mhm.
seen them lose 3 games now, and they also considered after the 88th minute, too. If we look at it, see the Chelsea game, see the only game they considered early enough was Galatasaray, but the other game they lost in the league, too, was something after. I think that was which one? The Crystal Palace game. That was
Yeah.
after in the additional time. And one thing, you cannot continue to ride your luck in games. If your
Yeah.
players are not performing, if your players are not, they've run on Ekitike's goals so far this season. Ekitike scoring, Salah has only been scoring PKs, and even against Arsenal, it's only free kick they were able to use to beat Arsenal, and that which was one game that actually pained me this season. But if we look at, you can't continue to ride your luck. Yeah, luck can win you league sometimes, but not this early in the season. Towards the end of the season, yes, you need to grab luck
Think
very well and be
I
like,
think I
I
think
need to
for
hold on to my
me,
wins.
the obvious ones that you've mentioned, you see, there are just three things that I actually want to say about Liverpool, and that would be it. Number one for me is that the fact that they didn't get an experienced central, maybe not experienced, but
Central
at least
defender.
a central defender that can compete with Konate and Van Dijk. Maybe not
Mm-hmm.
compete or maybe even complement them, because the only central defender they got, the only CB they got was a very young guy, which is now injured. Anyways,
Is to
I think
compete to.
that's already showing the gap. That's one. Number two is that there's something I don't agree with in Liverpool's transfer window, and I'm still trying to see how it plays out. You see, I have a belief.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy a player for 100 million, 120 million, or those that form, 150, whatever,
Yeah.
based on what the transfer market is. If you buy players like that, those players need to come into your team knowing they will play full time. The reason
Yes.
is
No.
the reason is it helps their confidence. I don't think that a 120 million player should come into the team in the early days with the thought of I'm fighting for my shirts. I don't see it as
Are we talking
helping that
about
player.
Isak or Ekitike?
Yeah, I'm talking about Isak here. So, because I feel like there's a setup with buying Isak and buying Ekitike in the same transfer window. Because
Mm-hmm.
now the issue is that you bought Isak that is worth about 120 million. And that Isak, even when you start him, he knows in his head that if I don't do something in 45 minutes, there's an Ekitike that is coming in anytime soon.
That's coming in. Yeah.
And I don't think it's a good thing. It's a good mindset for a 120 million. If you buy a 60 million player and you do that to the player, I don't think it's a problem. A 40 million, I don't think it's a problem.
Nobody
50
would
million,
tell
I don't
us.
think it's a problem.
Yeah.
Or 120 million and I'm on the pitch after 45 minutes, what's already in my head is if I don't score in the next 10 minutes in second half, there's another player coming in for me. It doesn't sound well. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't think it's going to help Isak. I don't think so. Ekitike is the anyways, what I'm saying is their business up front for me doesn't look good. Their business up front is going to put those players on pressure. And when it puts those players on pressure, it might not help them make the right decisions. That's what I have to say about them. But again, I want
I
to
think
watch and
they
see.
will need to find a way to play both of them actually, just to
Yeah.
see what both of them brings when they're on the field together. Kita can play on the
Anyways,
left and Isaku is the striker, but it's Liverpool. I
anyway,
thrive on their suffering.
let's move to another team. So the next top team, because we've talked about Bournemouth, we've talked about Crystal Palace. Another team that I want us to quickly touch on because I don't want us to jump them is Spurs. You see, they
Mhm.
had a new manager, which was Tom Frank, and then yes, there are some games that has looked like typical Spurs, and at the same time, there are some games that we've
Mhm.
seen brilliant moments. So for me, it has looked like mixed moments. What does it look like for you?
It's mixed for me too. So some people will say maybe because they lost some of their players, but they brought in Xavi Simons, and you look at Xavi Simons, and I don't think he has been able to produce the goods, at least so far in 2, 3 games that I've seen with them. But it's mixed for me. I expect Spurs to be doing better than they're doing right now. But we'll see. It's still 7 games in. So
Okay,
a
let's
lot
quickly
might
jump to
change and they
Manchester
might.
City. Manchester City,
Mm.
day one started well for something, and then game two, game three, phew, they went lost against Spurs, lost against Brighton, and then since that Brighton game, they've been unbeaten. And not just that they've been unbeaten, we've also seen Pep reacting to how people are setting up against him, which is showing them that I can also go direct. What do you have to say about City?
One thing I like Pep for is he always find reasons to get his point. He always find ways, not reasons, sorry, to get his point. And so far, I was saying it when we are doing the post game yesterday
Mhm,
that is it Pep? Is it that Pep now doesn't even care about like I want to win in a beautiful way as long as I get the 3 points, and that's what me I'm
mhm,
seeing from City so far this season. Sha. As against
mhm.
Arsenal, they do the same thing, and other games they've done the same thing. As long as they get the 3 points, I think it's fine with it. It's you fans that will not be complaining about we are not playing well or whatever. I think Pep only
Mhm.
care about that number at the end of the game, either 3 or 1. As long as I don't lose it, I'm fine with it. So I
I
don't
feel
know.
like
I mean, I like
I will agree
that.
with you. I agree with you, but I think the motive right now is that he he saw what crisis looked like last year. He saw it. I'm sure,
Mhm.
and I'm sure it was, and
Baba
I'm
said
sure
he
it was,
famously cried last year. Now scratch his
and I'm
face.
sure he scratched his face and blah, blah, blah. So there's this common saying that
Mm.
says that you don't learn character when you're winning. You learn it when you fail. When
Yes,
you
you learn it when
fail,
you lose. Yes.
you learn character.
Yep.
I think that seeing Christ is what it looked like last season has probably shaped Pep to. We saw all his assistants left, and then he brought in new ones, and the new ones he brought are people that the only song they'll be singing to is
Uh,
is you can go direct, sir. You can also go direct, sir. So probably he wants to get his team going, confidence and all of that. But let's not spend so much time on Manchester City.
on Pep Guardiola struggles.
Another team again is Chelsea, Maresca. After winning Club World Cup, I think he gave a lot of Chelsea fans the confidence that, yeah,
Eh,
we are back.
you're
We are
putting
the world
respect on their name now.
champions.
You can't just say Chelsea. You
We
say
are the
world
world
champions.
champion. Sorry, after the world champions sealed the trophy, I think the confidence came to the fan base that we're back.
Exactly.
And they weren't doing badly actually from the start until some games went back to back. I think lost I think Brentford's draw was the first one, and then they lost against Manchester United, which had red
Mm-hmm.
card, lost Bayern Munich with had red card, then lost against which other team again? They
Even
lost against one team.
their manager still
Oh, they
got
lost
record
against
last
Brighton.
again.
Brighton as well. But luckily for them, not luckily, deservedly actually, they were able to get themselves back before the international break by beating Liverpool 2-1. What do you have to say
Oh, that
about
was a
them?
good
Just
game.
briefly, what do you have to
That
say
was
about
actually a
City
good
season
game.
so far? So far.
I mean, just like Spurs, their season have been mixed for me. Like against Liverpool, they played the perfect football. If Liverpool had gotten anything out of that game, it would have been unfair for Chelsea.
To
Like they
Chelsea.
played the perfect football. I expected them to win, and they won, which was really good. Because coming from and they lost to Brighton and they lost to United, and but they were
Mhm.
able to win in the EFL Cup after that. It has been a mixed season for them. I think Chelsea should be above where they are right now, based on the world champions that they keep shouting up and down. But we'll see because they've only lost the one critical game in the league, which was Man U and red card, and then they lost to Brighton. They've not had good game against Brighton in years, so I'm not surprised about that. But let's see how they go after that, because soon after the break, they're playing Forest, who is struggling, and then they are playing Sunderland again. So Sunderland has been a surprise this season, so we don't know what's going to happen in that game. But let's see. But I hope like they pick up their form, like the world champion that they claim they are, and stop doing die today, wake up
I
tomorrow.
think for me, to be honest, I wouldn't say Chelsea has even dropped form. To be honest, my fair assessment of the team is that all of the games they've lost had reasons attached to it. Manchester United, there was a red card in that game.
Mhm.
Without red, it probably would have played out differently. And there was injuries towards playing Brighton, and there was also a red card because I think they were leading Brighton 1-0 before the red card as well. I honestly feel like in assessing Chelsea, I still need to see more games. I think they've not been so bad. They've not been so
Mhm.
bad, and I
Yeah, they
think
need
they
more
still have
games
what it
to,
takes
to
to.
for us to be.
And then the last big team that we're going to touch on is Manchester United. I think for Manchester United,
That's mid table team. Sorry.
everything bad that happens in Manchester United, everybody jumps on the cliche of is Amorim system, is Amorim system, is Amorim system. And then I think they've had just 2 wins. Am I right? 2 wins this season. That's against
Mhm.
Burnley and against Sunderland. And people are saying that these are just
No, they've had three
victories
wins.
against.
They've had three
Okay,
wins.
so that's a which and which? Burnley, Sunderland, and which one?
That's Sunderland, Burnley, and the
Burnley,
Chelsea game.
Sunderland. Oh, sorry, and Chelsea game. Thank you.
Chelsea.
And then the Chelsea game, there was a red card. The Burnley, Sunderland, these are relegation bouncing. What I want to say is, do you still think that this cliche of Amori is actually true? Or do you think that people just jump on it every time they lose?
But you can lose. You can look past the manager when the team is struggling, and it's not like their struggles just started this season. The struggle started from last season. Amorim so far has been able to win what 7 games in total or 8 games. I don't think he has even reached
Mm.
double figure yet. I'm not sure. But the thing is, they've struggled this season just because of the same thing that they struggled on last season, which is their manager not being able to say, I'm watching this game. His game management has been poor. Let me use average, just because I've seen him actually done some good recently. But like in the beginning of the season, his game management was very poor. He was refusing to change from his own philosophy of let me do 3-4-3 or whatever. But so far now, we've seen 2 games where they've been able to actually do what they want to do. Against Brentford, it was unfortunate because Brentford actually pressed them from the beginning of the game. And when they
Yeah.
finally were able to get back in the game, Bruno lost a PK. That was a whole struggle on his own. But I think moving forward, they have Liverpool next. Maybe they'll be able to play well against Liverpool
They
again.
need to
We'll
help
see.
everybody
But
beat
I think
Liverpool again.
the last game, yeah.
we,
But
we, we
like
we should
me,
all
I
be
won't put it past
supporting them. We
Amorisha.
should all be supporting them. I'll be supporting them on the day actually. But I think I think
If they
I think
want
for
support,
me,
then they should play.
the Amorim cliche, I'm getting to a point where I feel like we all need to slow down and probably just watch him again. But the only thing is that maybe it's just that I personally do not just agree with playing 3 central backs every time. To be honest, if only his system includes
Mhm.
a way where some days he plays the 3 central backs, some days he goes with 2 central backs. But it is what it is. His setup is the setup. If that's what he wants to see, again, like you said, the ball, or how do they say it, is stops at the decks of the manager. So
Mhm.
whatever it
The
is,
songs are
if
the
they
desk of the
succeed,
manager now.
if they succeed, we will all praise him. Either we like it or not, we will praise him. We will be forced to praise him. And if they don't,
Yes. Well, let's see
again,
the success first.
we will call out and we ban him. So we move on. Now let's go to players. Which players? 3 players that have surprised you. In fact, let's split the players. Players that you think that have played well so far. And let's go to new signings. 2 new signings that have performed well to you for you.
What's this guy, the Brentford striker, Thiago? Thiago. That
Thiago.
guy, I think he has 4 goals so far season or 5 goals. That guy has he has really surprised me this
5?
season, honestly, because
Oh
everybody
wow.
expect them for that either 4 or 5. I don't. I think he had that.
I've seen
Well,
his
I know
two
it's more than
goals
three
against
because
Manchester
everybody
United,
expect them to
but
struggle.
other than that,
Yeah,
I
everybody
wasn't
expect them to
so.
struggle after they sold Wisa and Mbuemo. And then another person that I think has surprised me, not
Yeah,
really
he has four
surprised, is
goals. He
Jack
has four
Grealish.
goals.
4 goals, yeah. And then Grealish going to Everton was the best decision he could make for his career. Grealish has really,
Mm,
really surprised me. Now, I can't say Grealish is not
mm,
keeping his KPI anymore. Now his KPI
mm.
is assured.
You
Four
know, you know,
assists
you
so
know,
far.
you know, you know. Speaking on,
His KPI is
speaking on
assured.
Grill,
So,
speaking on Grealish. When I see comment
mhm,
about Grealish, sometimes I always laugh. And you know why I laugh? I'm always like, you see what football has done
mm,
to, what football has done to, and then with the age of social media, people just type a lot of shit on social media without actually watching football. And what happened is that there's live scores these days that people will just use and say, "Shey, this player does not do assist." Grealish score yesterday. It was everywhere. Grealish score, Grealish score, Grealish score. I'm not sure if people even saw the goal.
mhm.
I'm not even sure if people saw the goal because
Oh, I saw the goal.
it's
I
amazing
saw
the
the goal.
way
That goal was actually
people jump
funny.
on stats. I'm like, clearance that someone was making and they made against Jack Grealish body and then the ball went back into the net. I'm
Nah.
like, and then people
Sure,
are like, yeah,
You did not see Grealish comment after the game.
you know how much I like Grealish. You know how much I like him. So I really do not want to dwell on
Mhm.
it so much. I'm happy, but the thing is that sometimes I don't know if people see these things. But anyways, let's move on. So new players, new signings. Actually, which of the new signings have impressed you?
That one is tough. Oh. Well, is it for Arsenal for me? Gyökeres has not really impressed me. Then what I made it for Newcastle? Donnarumma. I know how many people drag City because that Pep is buying a keeper that is not known for playing with his feet and everything. But against Brentford, I didn't watch that game, but I went to watch the highlight last night. And this guy made a critical save that stopped Brentford from
You know,
equalizing.
you
And he did the
know,
same thing
you know.
against
You
who
see,
did you play? Who was it? Was it
he
Man?
has
It
done
was
it in
Manchester
almost every
United.
game. He did it against Manchester United. He did it against Arsenal with the set pieces and all of that.
Yeah.
See,
So like
I don't want, we've talked about City, but anyways, yeah. So for the signings, we've talked about the ones that you think has performed well. Which players are
mhm.
playing below expectation for you this season? And the new signing that you feel you still need to see more of?
Guiz need to do more. He needs to do more for Liverpool. Yes, he has created more chances than anybody in the league. But he's not scoring, he's not assisting. There's a reason why. Salah missing some of his goals. Hey, he himself is not doing himself glory. So he needs to do more. And another person that I think needs to do more is Gyökeres for me. That's because I'm an Arsenal fan. I expect Gyökeres to be at 5 6 goals already. But he's been missing in bigger games and just scoring against smaller. He needs to do more. He needs to get more
Not even
involved.
when you say he's scoring
Before
against
West,
smaller team. He has only scored in 2 games, actually. He has only scored in two
yeah.
games, so it's not
So
like
like you look at it and you're like, before you say, oh, maybe Saka and Co were not getting him the balls, but the last 2 3 games they've given him balls, and even one game I was like, is he fighting with Martinelli? Because he's not passing to Martinelli. Martinelli was not passing to him. Like it was just kind of ridiculous to me. But hey, he's my player, and I will always beat him because I expect him
you
to have
know, you
five
know
goals.
one thing,
So
you know one thing about new players for me, which is why if a team is winning, then I'm not always quick to criticize new
mhm.
player. The thing about new player is that I would I would prefer a player to slowly integrate into the team than show me
But not when you are bought for.
promise. No. There's something I'm saying. This is not about you, because there's something I'm saying. I would prefer a player
Mhm.
slowly integrate into the team and become something big than a player that would rush and show me gra and then
And then disappear.
there's nothing to show for it. I'll give you a typical
Kuku
example.
mention
Luis Suarez.
Ojondi or mention
See,
Ojondi now.
Luis Suarez, when he went to Barcelona, it was a slow integration for him. But we know
Mm-hmm.
what came out of him at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day.
Yeah.
Cucurella for Chelsea, we know how he struggled in the early days. But now it's
Chelsea.
looking like Chelsea cannot win without him again. You understand? But we know players that they get the
Yeah.
initial gra that and then after the initial gra
Yeah.
everything
I have
is.
some names I can drop, but let me just keep my
I did not
shots
call
before
them.
Chelsea
I did
fans come
not
and
call
drag
them.
me.
I I did not
But,
call
but
him.
a certain Lawu comes to mind, and then
So what
there's
I'm saying,
Morata,
but what I'm saying
and then
is, but what I'm saying,
there is
all I'm saying is that Arsenal is winning. As long as Arsenal is winning and Gyökeres is integrating into the team, let's give it time and see what it becomes. And when
Mhm.
he
But
just
yeah, very soon they will start calling for Gyökeres edge though.
and if you win the league, I don't know
Mm.
for your fan
But
base
yeah,
anyways,
but
but you
yeah,
know
so
me.
I don't know.
But you know me. If a player does what he needs to do and win me trophy, that's my number. That's number one KPI for me.
Not if
Any
your
day in
no, but
football.
not if your KPI is to score goals now. If your
Bro,
KPI is to
what do you
score
want to
goals and
do
you're
with
not
the
scoring the
goals? What
goals,
what is the
there's
goals
something
for?
wrong
What's
with
the
you.
goals? What is the goals for?
The goals
What
to
is the
carry me
goals
in
for?
some games now. The goals will carry me in some
No,
games. To carry me in
you as
some
an Arsenal
games.
fan, what do you need? Number one. What do you
Mhm.
need? Number one. What is the thing you need
I
the
need
most
I
as an
need
Arsenal fan?
goals.
Okay, if that's goals, no worry. Then we have
Goals.
it's spelled as that's fine. If goals is what you find, then that's fine.
But in order
For
to be
me,
able to win, in order to be able to win the trophy you say we want to win, how are we going to get it if
Mhm.
we don't score goals?
there are players that have contributed to
How are we going to
winning
win that
leagues,
trophy
to
if we don't
winning
score goals?
because you don't need to score it. The goal does not need to
No,
come
I
from you,
do
is what I'm
agree.
saying.
No,
The
no, no,
goal does
no.
not need to
Hey,
come from
I
you.
actually do agree.
The
I
goal
do.
does not need to come
No,
from
okay, hold
you.
on. I agree. But do you know? Do you know the last three? Do you know the last three? The last three trophies we've lost, the EPL. Everybody was shouting it's because Arsenal doesn't have a nine, right? Now we have a
Yeah.
nine, and this nine is not scoring goals. If we
Do
don't
you
win this
know
trophy,
you're you're
who do you
you're
think are going
getting
to
me
blame
wrong,
first?
Lee? And let me tell you something. You're getting me wrong. And let me tell you. I don't follow
Okay.
people's line of thought. I will tell you something. DJ Drogba, people rate. Do you
But
know how
that's you
Chelsea fans?
now.
Hold on. I want to tell you something now. That's why I've asked you what you want as a fan. It depends
Uh,
on what you want. People rate DJ
mhm,
Drogba today. Go and tell Chelsea fan anything, their biggest striker, they will
mhm.
tell you DJ Drogba. How many golden boots does DJ Drogba have? How many golden boots?
But did Drogba go
It,
missing in any of their trophy they won? It doesn't matter
that's
about golden. I
exactly
don't care
what
about
we are
golden boot. Too.
coming to.
I actually don't
That's
care
why I'm
about golden
telling
boot.
you. That is
See,
why I
this
am
is one thing I'm
telling
telling
you
you.
that you're
No,
not
hold
getting
on.
me. You're
Hold
not
on.
getting me. It's not about
Maybe
the
you're
number
thinking I
of
want Gyökeres to
goals.
score 20 goals or
It's
25
not about the
goals.
number of goals. It's not
But
about
you
the
need
number.
to
I'm
see.
not saying Gyökeres is definitely not going to
For,
go this season with 3 goals. He's definitely not going to go with 3 goals. He's definitely not going to go
okay,
with 10 goals.
okay.
We know
Let me
that.
tell you one thing. It's very simple. It's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
If there are games where Arsenal has struggled, 2 seasons, 3 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
4 seasons, and it's because we could not score goals and we could not break goals down.
You win
If we
games.
get
That's
those
what you
kind
should
of
say.
games
You
this
say you
season,
did win
people
those
will
games.
look to
Not
no, hold on. But why didn't we win the game? It's because we're not scoring. So if that happened this season too, people will
if
look
what
at
happened.
Gyökeres
If
and be
what
like,
happens. If
this is
what
the reason why they
happens.
bought
No,
you.
no, no, no. Go back to what you said. If what happens again. If you go without
Okay, let's
winning the
move
league
on.
again,
Let's move
you
on.
are
Let's
skipping
move on.
the
We spent so
important
much time
thing.
on Arsenal. This is 30.
Yeah.
Please,
So
let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go
so
to another
so so we've
topic.
talked about. Let's go to the topic which is officiating. How does it look like Premier League officiating
Mhm.
this season? Is it better? Is it still the same
It's been
thing?
the same. It's
Has it
been the
got
same story for
worse?
me. It's the same story. It's the same story. We've seen
But at least now
PGMO. We've seen them
they are
done
announcing
crazy
the
stuff.
reasons.
Chelsea,
They are announcing the reasons now. Whenever anything happens, the ref announces it
but
so
the reason
everyone
is still
knows why they've
ridiculous. It's actually still
made the
ridiculous. The
decision.
reason doesn't change anything. It's still the same ridiculous reasons. I feel
No, no,
like
no,
they need to
no,
do better. They
because we're
actually need to do
analyzing
better.
for the benefit of those watching. Let's put more
Mm,
specific. Okay, let me start it. I
mm,
think for me, the officiating, I'll split it into two. I feel like the center
mhm,
ref, I can see massive improvement. My challenge is with use of VAR. That's my challenge. My challenge is with use of VAR.
mhm,
I feel like VAR is supposed to complement the ref and make officiating generally better. But what I'm getting from VAR, the vibe I'm getting from VAR is not good. In terms of the ref, I like the fact that, yes, now they are responding, they are even picking some things, allowing VAR to check so that you don't get to lose. I like that. I like the fact that there hasn't been so much drama
mhm.
about central refs this season, unlike before where you just see central ref, the drama is about them. There has been, I think you can agree with that, there has been little to most of the issues we've had this season is application of VAR. Is either there's an event VAR should have picked and call ref to check, but they haven't. Or sometimes they've gone to go and check what they shouldn't even be checking. Because sometimes there are some games that should just move on. Then you're just going to spend time checking it.
You
They
know,
need
it's the
to
reason why I said PG. It's the reason why I said PGMO and not ref per se, because the whole body, led by Howard Webb. Like if you look at
Mhm.
some of the ridiculous calls they've made, like Arsenal, Newcastle, and everything. Did they call? They didn't even call the ref to kind of look at the penalty incident himself both times. And you look at it and you're like,
No, I
then
think he looked
what's the
at
why is
they
VAR
called him to
even
look at
involved
the
if they
they
don't
called him
want
to
to?
look at the Eucharist one, but they didn't call him for Gabriel's
But
and
they
they
didn't
didn't
call
call
him
him
to look
for
at the
the
Gabriel one,
yeah,
which is
and they
which
didn't
is
call him to
even
look at
more
the other one
blatant
as
than
well.
even
So
the Gyökeres one. That was more blatant. You know, so is like you said, application of VAR this season has been even the ref are complaining that they want to be able to make decisions without VAR and everything,
yeah,
which
because
is
that's what I'm
simple.
saying. You know,
VAR has always been the issues.
if we are finally getting to a season where before we always say ref wants to make it about them, and this is it looks like
Mm-hmm.
they are cooperating. You would ordinarily think that because VAR is visual, you are
Mm,
seeing it, and you are not one, you are like three of you in the booth. You would ordinarily think that they should
mm-hmm.
help the ref. But again, let's not even lie. It's not like it has been so bad for me, anyways. Maybe it's just only 2 or 3 games this season. So I won't say it has been so bad. Maybe ref dramas in all the games is just like maybe 3, 4 games. In how many games? There's usually 10 games in a. They play 70 games as a
Mm.
whole this season, and I wouldn't say it has been bad, bad. It hasn't been bad, bad for me, but they should just do better. VAR should do better. So I think
Yeah, they need to do
for
better.
Premier League, so far we've had a chance. Premier League, is there anything you want to say on the final notes? We've had quick chats. What do you expect?
Well, final note, I think
Anything
the league has
on
the
the
league
cup?
has actually been fun so far. The league has been fun. So looking at Sunderland, so the team like Sunderland is on the table, which is surprising everybody because they expect them to go down. And moving forward, like I would like to see more from Manchester United, Spurs. Chelsea. And for my own team, Arsenal, I hope we keep grinding out the win. We keep getting the wins no matter how we do it. At this point, I don't care. As long as we get the 3 points that leads us to the trophy, fine with it. And for Liverpool and City, I hope the struggle continues. I'm on board. I support you guys in your struggles.
The only thing I have to say is that before our next review, I'm looking out for the team that's going to help stop Arsenal. And that's it for today. Guys, let's hear
Yeah,
your take.